We get started. It is our tradition to. I know I lost control. No one listens.
Okay.
I'm used to that, I guess.
Just a stress. Everything.
Before we get started, before our meeting actually starts, I don't know, is it on? Before we get started this evening, it's our tradition for Mr. Thompson to say a prayer. I encourage anyone to
join me if you like. Father, we are grateful for fall and the beauty that is displayed. Pray for our students and faculty and staff for your blessing, and we give you thanks for an upcoming season, a small break, and a time to remember to give thanks for all that we have. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. This is where we do our student and faculty recognition, so start with that. Thank you.
So tonight we have athletes and coaches we'd like to recognize. Noah Roberts, if you would come on up. Noah made
Great job.
Thank you. State tennis tournament, lost to the eventual state champion. Noah's overall record was 25-3. He'll go on to play tennis at Marian University on a scholarship. Coach, come on up with him as well.
Congratulations. Great season. It was wonderful to have you guys do so much damage also on Center Grove's courts. That was really a great thing. But we had a Final Four participant in the history?
No. We've had one other, since I've done it 14 years, we had Ben Schaefer make it to the final state individual, and then Noah did last year, got the final 8, and then this year got the final 4.
Well, that congratulations. I'm going to give you the mic, and you can introduce the people that are in attendance with you. That'd be great.
All right. Well, with Coach Rod right here. I have both my parents, Kathy and Kathy, my brother Luke, my brother Dakota, and my sister McKenna. They're here with me, I guess.
And when you're going to Marion to play, do you know what will you be doing, singles, doubles, or combination as you move on?
I don't really know yet. I guess I'll just have to play everyone there. They'll tell me where to play.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure to watch you for 4 years. I know when Ethan was on there and you were coming up, I got to see when you as a much younger kid. You were very good then, and obviously continued. And congratulations, you made us all proud.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Well done. Let's get a picture here. No, you're in the picture. That's okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't think Tony's here. We'll go and recognize him.
Next, we have 3 coaches who were honored as Fall Mid-State Coaches of the Year. We have Adam Schwartz for boys cross country, Roxanne Chapman for girls volleyball, and Tony Harris for boys soccer.
Congratulations. I don't know where they are. Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. This is Coach's first year with us. She moved back from London, England, and took on a challenge of leading our team, and they did quite well. I'm going to pass the mic if you want to give a quick highlight to your team, and that'd be great.
And I think the team for this award, obviously, this is my first year, and I came into a really good program. The girls led us to lots of wins. We were 25-7, sectional runners-up, and mid-state conference champs. So they did a great job. I've had the pleasure of becoming a part of Franklin, and I look forward to more great, successful seasons. So thank you.
Oh, congratulations. Here we're going to get a picture. Yeah. All right. Mr. Wertz, that will conclude tonight's recognition.
All right, moving on to other business. I got to follow the agenda. Remember, we talked about this. This would be an appropriate time for any public comments to come up and state a comment regarding the agenda. Seeing none, we will move on to other board agenda items. Music Council, I know they met today and was not able to participate.
Well, I showed up late, so I don't know what we've really talked about, so I'll defer I showed up late for you because you
I
couldn't
know.
make it.
I know.
I'll defer to Dr. Clendenning for any
We're looking at a
comments.
couple things. One, continuing to get job descriptions with regard to what does it look like to lead our performing arts programs? And that's going to be coming up. The second thing was looking at recruiting opportunities that we have in grades 5 through 12 and getting the kids to see both programs, and looking at having sometime this semester or this school year, bringing all the 8th graders up to the high school and have an event where they'll see multiple things going on, not just performing arts, but actually kind of a day in the life experience of our high school. And then looking at next August or next school year in October, the marching band performing their show for the middle schoolers at the conclusion of their season and when they're in their peak performance. So we talked about that as well. We did talk a little bit about the Coogee trip with Mr. Moore, and the kids are coming here on January the 13th, and it looks like the band will be performing for them on that day as we get ready for that. And that was the yeoman's portion of our conversation.
Very good, thank you. Athletic Council.
We have not met. Or did
No,
we
latter,
meet
latter part of this month.
latter part of this month?
Yes,
Yes.
So I didn't miss a meeting.
you did not.
Great.
Legislative Council.
We did not need, just a couple of things. We are meeting with Neola coming up soon, so Mr. Mashmeyer will get one more
One
opportunity
last-
to have
Good.
policies. But Mr. Mercer and I did meet with Representative Young. John Young, as you'll know, will represent Franklin schools at the State House. So we had a chance to meet with him, talk a little bit about our journey and some opportunities that we can continue the conversation. I think we're going to do it again end of January, early February with John. And then we're meeting with Greg Walker. I think it's 2 weeks from now. Also, Mr. Senator Walker is going to be in our district. He's going to shadow one of our teachers. And I think right now we're down to 2 teachers. It'll be Ann Wilson, Teacher of the Year at Creekside, and also Beth Foraker up here in science, who's also another Teacher of the Year, to give experience of what it's like to be a teacher. So Greg will be here with us in our district, and that's a nice honor for our school as well.
When did you say that was going to happen?
Natalie, did we pick a date with their representative?
Is it this semester, next semester?
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
I get it on maybe 3 weeks.
Yep.
Okay, just curious.
Yep.
Very good. Anything else?
Non-legislative council.
All right, Superintendent Task.
We're going to meet November the 30th, and that's going to be looking at our second goal strand, looking at certification, career college readiness. The letter is finished. It's going to go out to several parents we've had and business leaders. We'll be inviting, I think the list is up to about 50 people. We know that we may not get everybody there, but we hope to get a good representation from all schools as well as our business partners. Mr. Thompson, you are on the list to represent from the certification area for the school board.
Okay.
So you'll be getting a letter on that.
Did I know that?
No, we
Great.
just meant to finalize that. Yep.
Nothing like finding. Very good. Thank you. Communication Committee.
We did meet. We're still working on the new website, and the mobile app is now being updated. Is that correct? And then at our last meeting, we just took time and kind of looked at all the different schools' websites just to see how we could get them to fit in with the new and what needed to be changed possibly. So, and then I think we meet this week.
Very good. Thank you. Collective bargaining, we have not met, no need to at the moment. Central 9.
I was able to go last week. A couple highlights, had 3 students and a couple instructors talking about criminal justice, and a couple of keynotes there I took away is they set really high standards and really work with students on setting some clear career goals. High percentage of those students go in the military, and they I was intrigued by what they do, and they have a physical form of discipline in the form of push-ups and et cetera when they get out of line, and I think I like this. So, but they do get dual credit for Ivy Tech, which I thought was pretty good. Second item, they did we did the calendar approval. It doesn't completely line up, but I know you've been engaged in the calendar, so it's probably the best possible solution that there is today. We had 2 students of the month from Franklin, Ross Ellis in auto body and collision.
That's great.
And Maverick Linville in construction trades. And then the most intriguing thing to me was there was approval of adding a new program for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, which I was naive in thinking that it was already there. But at least from my perspective, being in the industry, that is a much needed program, and gives students a great opportunity to learn a trade that last time I checked, every house in Indiana has some form of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So there's never a shortage of work. They're also modifying the advanced manufacturing to include automation and robotics. Again, being in that industry, I thought was a pretty good thing. So good highlights from Central.
Very good, thank you. RDC,
Nothing new to report.
nothing we do report. All right. Very well, moving on to the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Are there any questions, comments regarding the?
I have 2 comments, please. One, Rhonda Bockover is moving to Huntington, Indiana, end of the month. And she's been with us for 16 years, I believe I was told. Is that right, Mark? Or 17. And so she'll be missed at Creekside. She's done some amazing things as far as bringing literacy alive. So we just want to say thank you to Rhonda for helping create culture and learning and literacy for our students. And then I think everybody knows now, but Mr. Reese has resigned his position as head football coach and event manager at our high school. And so that is also on the personnel report.
All right. Are there any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to superintendent reports. Webb Elementary Partnership.
One of the third goals that we have for the district over the next 4 years is to continue to grow partnerships and opportunities both with the city and different organizations. Tonight, we're pleased to talk about one of those. It's at Webb Elementary, where a group of students attend the Franklin Rotary once a month as honorary members, if you will. So Mr. Moore here, who's the sponsor and creator of this opportunity, is going to talk a little bit about that.
This is new to me. Where do I go? Right here? Thank you for that roaring applause.
You have to say the Webb.
Let me share.
The Webb.
Yeah, that's my old school. And actually, I did not come up with this idea. I think the credit really goes to Cheryl Moran and Angie Clendenning, who suggested for at-risk students, and we're looking at 4th graders right now that don't really have that experience opportunity to come to a Rotary Club. And they came as a one-off last semester in the spring. And they were very well received, and they performed admirably. And we had them at different tables so they could get experience of what a formal meeting is, to meet different professions in the community, get a sense of that they're not out there alone. So it went off well enough that we decided to do this for a full year. And it's a monthly meeting. We've had one in October. And now to add to that, to help develop their skill set a little, we have 2 young boys, 3 young girls, all 4th graders. 2 weeks from tomorrow, I've got the presentation. We're going to do a history of the Franklin Rotary Club, how it got started in 1919. I'm going to enlist their support to help read some of the Franklin Evening Star articles, just to get them full experience, public speaking, getting them involved in what the community is about. And I'll give you a report if you'd like at the end of the year after we've had some more opportunities. One of their assignments at the end of the year is to present themselves in Webb Elementary so we can learn about them a bit. And I was thinking about how to enlarge this. It's in its infancy, but wouldn't it be nice if the other service clubs got involved, if Kiwanis adopted a school, if the Lions Club adopted the Franklin Chamber? So it's scalable. Let's give it a try and see. But I like the idea of reaching out to these kids one at a time, and the school has done a really good job of identifying students. I think very appropriate, don't you? Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to report now, but I welcome anyone in this room to come 2 weeks from today, which is November 29th at noon at the Dietz Center at Franklin College. And let's all give them some love on this. I think they're good kids.
Or you can meet at Webb and I'll drive you on the activity bus.
Yeah.
And you might get there a few minutes late.
I was thinking of potential drawbacks of this program, and there's just one. Now that you have your commercial driver's license, I fear that they may lose you to an over-the-road trucking job. So keep that in consideration.
No.
But that's all I had. I look forward to telling you at the end of the year about how much they've developed in the meantime. So thank you very much.
I would just say it was really engaging to see the kids engage in conversations. I don't know if Greg strategically put them by people that would naturally just start talking to them. But just around the room, they were all talking about, who they are. They were asking appropriate questions. And it was really a neat experience for our kids. So Greg, I want to thank you for following through and asking Rotary to sponsor our kids. And it's been a very nice partnership.
Well, we're a service club, and this is a great one. It was a no-brainer. So thanks for making us available for it.
Thank you.
You bet.
Great program.
Thank you.
All right, online registry, Mr. Doty.
Thank you, Mr. Wirtz, and I think Mr. Purley and Mr. Sprout are on their way up to help me fill in some blanks and just briefly talk about this online annual registration, small project that we have going. Let's, if we could, just put online and annual, those 2 words on the back burner for a second, and talk about registration. The thought of registration, what we're talking about, would be obviously new student registration, kindergarten, transfer students from out of district, but we're also talking about re-registration every year for our student body. And that's really born out of a problem that Doug Dickinson and I see at the Transportation Department with accurate data for his student database and how that affects his routing efficiencies. We saw that came to light in the past project that we ran for the bus driver shortage. Looking at routing efficiencies, this came to light to us that he doesn't have a good way to know who's riding the bus and who isn't. And so he's tried a couple things over the years with an opt-out form where he gets about 400 of those out of our total of 5,000 student body. So it's not a very good percentage. So we tried something last year where we had students. Cheryl Moran's daughter was actually one of them. Some students help us place phone calls, cold calls to parents, and just ask the question: is your student going to ride the bus? Yes or no? And they were only able to increase that by about 2% on answers back whether they were going to ride the bus or not. So all of that came about. We started thinking about how do other schools get accurate data from mom and dad, and what do we do with it? We start talking to building administrators and realize it's not just a transportation department problem. It crosses many departments, and building administrators have some problems with accurate data from the home and throughout the entire year of keeping the data current. So we started this project, and so it's morphed into a little bit bigger project than just getting yes or no, or you're riding the bus. But if we think it's worthwhile, customer service and good student up-to-date data. So we started working with Mr. Purley on a problem statement worksheet and get him indoctrined into the Six Sigma world of thinking. And so I'm going to let him share with you what our problem is and our problem statement, what our goal statement is. And then maybe Matt can tie in where we think this online piece actually fits, so as a solution. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Purley.
Thank you, Mr. Cody. And he did a nice job kind of outlining that. So our goal statement is boiled down to due to the importance of student safety, which has to do with buses and then once they're in our school, and the stress for families, where are our kids at and when are they going to get home, and the staff being able to contact folks. It's necessary to determine a process to gather accurate and timely student data and allowing us to import that into our data systems that we have, PowerSchool, etc. So then we also had to look at the timeline of that. We would like to have our existing student population re-registered in June, by the end of June. And then new students who are enrolled with a goal of July 1st. And then we're going to back that timeline up as we near school. As we know, some families move into the area over the summer. 1 week prior to the first day of school, we would have 100% accurate data as provided by the parent, and then 100% of the enrolled students entered into the systems. Would be our software for transportation, food services, and student data for contacting parents in an emergency and those sort of things. So we align that up with our annual calendar each year. Next, Matt Sprout.
So they say, here's the data, get it in the system, right? Just a checkbox and away it goes. So they got the IT department involved, and I really saw this as a data opportunity. A number of times we have PowerSchool and we're not able to reach out to the parents, as Mr. Purley will communicate the rest of the administration in a timely manner. And so our goal here was to gather this data, be able to distribute it back. We looked at a number of venues and we're not quite sure on the how. This process, the superintendent's report, is defining who the customer is. Is the customer the student? Is it the parent? Is it staff? Is it the administrator? And we found that it's a number of each. And so part of this program today is just to inform you that the process is taking place, that it is a project. We haven't necessarily defined the how yet. We have to reach out to our building administrators, also the attendance clerks at each building. So we've got the work cut out ahead of us, but we also wanted to make you aware of what was taking place and our ultimate goal in doing so. We'd be glad to answer any questions.
It seems so basic, but onto a problem.
It's amazing the number of things we've tried to gather that data successfully. So the nice thing is we aren't the first school to do this electronically, so we'll be able to learn from schools that have succeeded and not succeeded.
That's really, this is, as Matt alluded to, the first step in the process of just communicating this out, to know that, and really talk to the audience that may be watching at home, if they're that bored, and let our community know that we're going to be talking to you, we're going to be asking questions, what do you think about this, but then really know for you as well, if you hear anything, give us feedback, whatever you may have. If you have questions after tonight, think about that. But the online, when we call it online annual registration, it's probably, we would just, I think everybody just assumes it's going to be some electronic format, right? Get away from paper pencil, and slow process, work on customer service. So I think that's the just do it part of the project, is the electronic part. Questions?
Thank
All right, we'll be back. We'll be back and keep you updated along the process.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Mr. Sprout, do you mind staying up and talk about the software agreement?
Sure. This is an application that we're excited to implement. As you know, that we're improving our website. Site Improve is a website that does a number of features that we don't currently have and are lacking. I'd like to take you out there just a moment to kind of demonstrate what it does. What Cyberproof does is basically crawls your website and looks for data mistakes. You've hit the ultimate, I'm really interested in this, you click on the link and you find the 404 error, oh, I'm sorry, that's a bad link. One of the features of this is it monitors our website for us to look for that, look for misspelled words. Being in education, misspelled words on a website don't go over very well. But ultimately what we're looking at is ADA compliance. We're federally funded, which means our website has to be accessible by all. If you have a screen reader, for example, each graphic needs to have a label with it because a computer can't read the graphic. It needs to have a text label with that. You can get into the HTML and look for it, or they'll service that for us. So it's ultimately that compliance part of it, more so than the misspellings and the bad links that we're looking for. One of the great features on this is the training is ongoing. Where that benefits us is as teachers develop websites, as buildings develop websites, they're able to go through this training endless times. As we have turnover, we're able to continue to provide that. And this was an opportunity that we wanted to take advantage of. The cost for this is a little over $6,100 annually. And so I'd be glad to answer any questions or request approval to purchase the software.
All right. Are there any questions or comments? Motion?
Just a quick reminder of kind of how we got here. Recently, we were notified through the civil rights about our website not being in compliance, and looking at that, and just one of the requirements was for us to either figure out how to check for errors and move forward. So that's how we got here. So
this is different than the actual website.
Yeah, so this is a service completely separate from our website hosting.
Right.
This is a service that looks at our website and reviews it for errors or items. If you'll notice on our website, there's a blue fade into the F. It sees that as an error, just in color differentiation for individuals that might be colorblind.
Okay. Good to know. Any other questions? Comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We're out. Mr. Mercer, emergency appropriation.
You know it's getting close to the end of the year when I come up and start doing some of this stuff, and this is no different. The first item that I have before you is an emergency appropriation resolution to spend money out of CPF. We've done it, I believe, one other time this year. We allocate $150,000 for items that don't fit into the budget naturally, things that pop up that you hadn't really counted on, and this is one of those. The items that are housed within that $50,000 are some radios and repeaters that Mr. Doty needed, and apparently he has spent all of his funds on something else. So we're here to help him. But beyond that, we've got some work to be done in the greenhouse that has not been done for a little while. And with the advent of our new teacher and alpacas and all kinds of fun stuff going on in ag, it came to light that maybe we need to do some work. And I think it clearly is legitimate work. So Bill's priced that out as well. We believe we can get all that done for $50,000. So I'm here to ask your approval to spend those dollars out of the capital projects fund.
All right. Thank you. Other questions?
Move for approval.
All right. Motion for approval. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And your next rainy day resolution.
The second item is, this is something we talked about during the course of the year. The first document is the additional appropriation resolution to transfer money from the rainy day fund to transportation to assist us in ending the year with at least $1 of balance. We are here today to ask for $150,000 to be transferred. While we would prefer not to have to do that, I will tell you that's realistically about at least $100,000 better than I thought we would be. Kudos to Mr. Dickinson and everybody in transportation for working exceedingly hard to make sure that we've made good use of every dollar that we could. And so both of these documents are centered around some money that we need to get into transportation to finish out the year. So I'm asking your approval for that as well.
Move for approval. Can we approve both of these at the same time, or do we have to do two motions?
We can do
Well,
that.
since we have a motion on the floor now, let's go ahead and finish this one up and then go to the next one.
Actually, there's just one resolution. I merely put the second document in more for
okay.
your information. That's what
So
will go to
there's
the
just one
DLGF
resolution,
this
two
week.
documents.
Right.
Got it. Fair enough.
Right.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. So are there any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Discussion items.
None tonight.
There are none. All right, fair enough. Board and administrative comments.
Just want to thank first Dr. Lennon for serving on the Johnson County Library Board for us for the last several years, but due to family obligations, she's going to have to step down, and that's effective immediately. So we'll now have a second position open for that spot. I do have one person that has submitted an inquiry in the past, and I did see them recently and brought them up. And so, Mrs. Ott, if you are willing, we probably need to interview. We will kind of post to see if there's anyone else, but it'd be you, Deb, and I talking to that person again. And they need to be filled as soon as possible. Like I said, Dr. Lennon is stepping down at this time after tonight's board meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Calendar.
We do have a Friday event at CBIS with Mr. Beck and Mrs. Mappus. They're going to start off in the LGI room, is that correct, with breakfast? And then we'll have a short presentation and then visit the school. Thanksgiving break, just remind.
What time? 7 a.m.?
We're going to start at, for the presentation, 7:30. What time's breakfast? 7:30 work?
What doesn't matter. I just need to know. What 7:30?
7:30.
7:30 works.
And then Thanksgiving, just remind everybody we are off Wednesday. Central office will also be closed, I am told, due to the repositioning of the generator. We will have no power. Is that correct, Mr. Sprout? So you will have no access to call us either at that time because of that. So technology is taking over for that day in central office. A couple upcoming choir and band events. The annual Christmas show for the choir is on the 1st and 2nd. The band Christmas concert is December 8th. Central office holiday celebration. This year it isn't a little different. We're going to go out to Crystal Springs Farm. Where we're going to have dinner. We're going to be serenaded, if you will, by the Rockefellers. I believe we're going to put on a show of several songs. And then I think the Circle Estate kids from CBS, they're not going to be able to do it. Okay. So Rockefellers will be on for their first concert ever. It'll be great to have them do a series of songs for us. Coogee students will be here January the 10th. And this is also for anybody that would be interested in hosting Coogee student. It's a great opportunity to have your kids interact with kids from across the world. Mr. Moore is kind of the lead sponsor. So if you know of a family that would like to have someone come out and stay, the kids are great. They do know English, some English. They'll be able to communicate. And Google Translator is another great partner. They've been with the Clendennings before. It's a great time. They're going to be at the schools on Wednesday, Needham Elementary, Webb Elementary, and CBIS. Thursday, they're going to spend the day at the middle school, and Friday, they're going to be at the high school, getting to experience what it's like to go to school in Franklin schools. So we need, how many sponsor families left are you looking? We have four people. So if you have a family or you know somebody that would love to host, please let Mr. Moore know or call central office and we'll make that contact for you.
What age levels?
Ideally, middle school, high school, anyone who has a student at Franklin schools that will work this fine.
We have 10 total kids this year, right? Yep. And And then also board, this is something new on, I think it's Tuesday. Which night am I hosting? Wednesday evening. Angie and I will be hosting dinner for the adults at Scotty's, and you'll all be invited. I'll make sure you get that. But it's just a new feature. They're adding one more day to their visit. The mayor is going to host on Thursday, and so the school and superintendent are hosting. Angie and I are hosting on Wednesday. So I'll get an email invitation out to you all and your calendars. And I think we're going to Scotty's. We got Scotty's, correct? That's right. And the mayor, I think, is going to Richard's Kitchen. So those are the two spots.
Very good. It's time for public comments. If there are any comments, please come up to the podium, please. Seeing none?
Well, a board comment.
All right, go ahead, please. I don't know that you.
I would like to say, if you didn't go to the musical last weekend, that's your loss.
Yeah, it was great.
I've been to a lot of musicals, and I keep in mind I have a biased opinion, as does my colleague here, given that our sons were in it. It was probably the best high school production I've ever seen. And I think and the reason I say that is it's just indicative of the quality of performing arts productions that are going on this end of the school. And so highly encourage you to attend some of the other things going on. But what's the phrase, Dr. C?
Crazy good.
Crazy good. And so I
Yeah.
texted him and I asked him, was it crazy good? And his response was, it's beyond crazy good. So I just say that, obviously I want to brag on my son and his son as well. But seriously, it was the best high school production I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot of them. I've been in a lot of them and I was never this good. So kudos to the kids down here, along with grade school and middle school kids who were engaged in this. So if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So,
I believe for the first time ever, we had two sellouts. Of the auditorium. And so that was just outstanding.
Did we actually make money?
We, early preliminary results are we made money. Mrs. Betts, did you have a highlight? Do you know what it? We made money.
Outstanding.
That is great news.
Your loss if you missed it. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Well said. Any other comments?
Move to adjourn.